So yeah, I mean, it could be whatever you think your listeners would be most interested in talking about. Anything on an emotional level or even an energetic level. I don't know where your listenership is, but I'm kind of deep into chakras and in my own practice, I kind of utilize those a lot to figure out what to tap on for people. For
Hmm.
instance, if they have like lower back issues or if they have upper shoulder issues, I'm constantly kind of in my mind thinking about the chakras and what best way to approach it based on what I know about those and why things show up in people's bodies in different places.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I love
Um,
this. Can you like I know a bit about chakras, but like um could you describe, like, go into more about what you're saying just now about how you use the chakra system and maybe kind of give like a brief intro to what the chakra system is for people who might not be versed in chakras?
mhm. Yeah. So what I know about the chakras is that the lower chakras are very much tied to what happens here on this planet. And then the upper chakras, heart chakra and up, are more of our kind of spiritual part of ourselves. We need both. They meet in the middle, right at our heart, and they're all important in different ways. But each chakra governs a different part of the body and different systems in the body. So I'll just go through each of them really quickly. The root chakra, which is down near the tip of our tailbone, that has everything to do with belonging and sense of community and kind of being grounded here on this planet during this time. And the shadow side of this chakra is fear. And those are all the things that you need to work through. Whatever the shadows are of each chakra, those are the things that you need to kind of lean into and work through in order to maintain balance in that
Mhm.
chakra. The shadow side is fear. So if you have a fear that of not belonging or a fear of not being worthy or deserving, it's going to show up in that first chakra. It might feel like hip pain. It might feel like knee pain. Um,
Like anything
something
lower,
along those lines.
including the feet, maybe?
Uh-huh, absolutely. It also shows up in the bigger systems of the body. Sometimes like musculature or the skin, um, our immune system. Like I know things like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. Um, what's another one? Like chronic lymphocytic leukemia, that would show up like as a first chakra issue.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So,
Does
and
it mean chakras blocked per se, or like thrown out of balance because
I would say
someone
yes.
living with a sense of this fear that's affecting their like primal or survival necessities?
Right, right.
Chakra.
Basically, what we all want to strive for in our chakras is balance, like you said.
Mhm. Mhm.
Always have balance between power and vulnerability.
Mm.
And the vulnerability part of the chakra is the shadow part. And that's often the side that we don't want to lean into. We often will go heavy on the power side, whatever that is, and we don't lean into the vulnerability side. But that's what would create balance is by leaning into those things and working through those fears.
Mm, love
So,
it.
second chakra is all about relationships, our
Mhm.
relationship with, people, loved ones, colleagues, friendships. But it's also our relationship with money, our relationship with our sexuality,
Mm.
and our sense of creativity. And again, what we want to strive for is that sense of balance in this area. between power and vulnerability. But the shadow side of this chakra is guilt. So if you have guilt, oh, mom guilt, for example, would be an imbalance, and you would need to lean into working through the guilt that you're feeling in this area. Um, if you have guilt over what you do or don't do sexually, or what you do or don't do with your money, then
Huh.
those are those things, some things that you need to really lean into in order to find balance in that
Or like
area.
guilt of not using your creative talents, or like you spend
Yes.
time in your tech job, but you don't pay attention to your desire to paint.
Yes, yes. And even in your relationships, if you have, like, if you're too controlling in a relationship, that's out of balance. If you're
Mm-hmm.
too vulnerable in a relationship and don't have boundaries, that's out of balance. So really being able to kind of discern those areas and have kind of an emotional awareness of who you are and things that you need to work through. So the organs are reproductive organs and going around to the backside, lower back. That's why people often have lower back issues, and that tends to correlate with money, often
Mm-hmm.
feeling too vulnerable with
Lack
money.
of effort. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Mm.
So, third chakra is right at kind of the base of your ribs where they come together. And that governs our whole digestive system.
Isn't
So,
this also the point of identity? Is this personal identity?
yes, yes, this is our sense of self, who we are, our sense of confidence and or lack of. Um, And shame is the thing that the shadow work that we need to do in this area in order to find balance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if there's anything, even if it's trauma, like I have a couple of clients that have some sexual trauma, but they feel intense shame over it, and it really shows up for them in their digestive tract. So there's no sense of balance there, and it will create kind of a physical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
Then the next is the heart chakra, but that also governs like the arms and shoulders, lungs, that sort of thing. We often think of, the heart chakra as the most loving, most wonderful parts of ourselves. And to be honest, it has like the darkest shadow, which is
Most.
it's our inner critic. And
Ah.
that part of ourselves that just berates endlessly about what we did or didn't do, what we're feeling or not feeling, that sort of thing. And um, it's a really, really kind of hard thing to dislodge.
Ugh. I feel like self-hatred might be too strong, but like if you don't love yourself, you're being hard on yourself. What is the opposite of love consciousness, as these
Yeah.
two things work together? I've never heard it put this way, that the balance is between the power and the vulnerability. That
Hmm.
I don't know, just that just gives me like goosebumps all over my body. Because we
Yeah.
often just ignore the shadow aspects of things, and we're like, stay
We turn
positive,
away, right?
ignore, like, sorry, Abraham Hicks lovers and stuff, but like, she's like, just ignore it, just turn away, like, only think of what you want, and like, you didn't excavate anything. Like, there's
I know.
nothing that has been.
And that was my
Yes.
personally my own blockage when looking at law of attraction stuff, especially with Abraham Hicks. I'm like, why can't I get there? And it's because there's so much shit in the way between what is great out there and what my mind is, what's happening
And
in
what
my
is
mind
like
and in my body.
holding you down and holding you back? And if you're
Yeah.
so full of garbage, like how can you put
Yes,
anything
totally.
else in there?
Yes, totally.
I love it. I love this. Like we are both, we're bipolar, not bipolar, what's the word I want? We're dynamic beings that hold both ends of the spectrum. Where, I mean, if we are enlightened, that's one thing, but like most of us are not. We're human beings that like we have to hold both of these things about ourselves, like the things we don't want to
Yeah.
necessarily look at or digest, or pay attention to. But
Yeah.
until we do, it's in the way of all this other stuff that we want.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think
It's,
slapping like shiny, happy feelings on top of stuff that's really troubling you and blocking you doesn't solve the problem.
it's
It's only
almost
by,
offensive.
right?
Yeah, it's kind of rude. It's like, what's wrong with you? Of course, you just turn your mind over here. It's like, well, then why do I feel this heaving vomit in my chest? And like, am I just supposed to ignore that? That is my body
Yeah.
telling me
Yeah.
that something needs to move or come out or be addressed.
God, and for the longest time, I blamed myself. Like there's something wrong with me that I can't be like these other people and just be happy all the time. Like I really thought that that was how it was supposed to be, and I
Yes,
was doing it wrong somehow. And
totally. And you just be quiet and you just hide
yes,
your shame and you just,
yes,
until you can
yeah,
participate in this love, light, and rainbows, don't come over here.
right, right. And the truth
Oh,
is, like we're, like you said, we're dynamic beings. We have sad thoughts and we have angry thoughts, but we also have joyful thoughts and we have, wondrous thoughts. They all exist at the same time sometimes. And
yes.
that is how it's meant to be. And if
Yes.
we could just have peace with that instead of like this happy joy all the time, but peace with the sadness and peace with the joy, then that is balance.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Ha ha ha. Like,
Yeah. Instead of judging and
it is
criticizing. Yeah.
acceptance, really. It's like, it's just acceptance. It's not making everything perfect and great. It's
Nope.
this integration of parts that some are great and you're like, yeah, I'm super proud and happy about this. And the other one's like, yeah, yeah, it's like not so great, but like I can accept it. I can take,
Yes.
I can look at it. I can like
Yeah.
admit and embrace this part of me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, if
Exactly.
you're just tuning in. My guest is Amy Vince. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
You say it.
Vinsa.
Vinsa. No, so I didn't say it correctly. Don't.
Well, I get tired of correcting people. Sorry.
I like to say, it's like my thing. I have to say people's
Oh,
names.
okay.
Amy Vince has been a dedicated, correct?
Yes,
Close enough.
you did.
Professional in the health and wellness industry for over 20 years and as a certified massage therapist, nutritional therapist, colon hydrotherapist. I've had that done. It's awesome. Reiki
Hmm.
Master, next on my list, and tapping coach. She brings a wealth of expertise to her work, I'll say. That's quite a resume. And since earning her certification as a tapping coach 16 years ago, before it was trending, Amy has witnessed profound transformations both in her own life and in the lives of her clients. She has even used tapping to heal herself from painful chronic medical conditions. As the founder of the Soar with Tapping app, Amy is on a mission to make the life changing benefits of tapping accessible to people everywhere. She firmly believes that tapping is one of the most powerful and transformative healing tools available today. Pause. I'd like to go back to you finishing the shadow side of the chakras, and then maybe Amy would take us through a tapping session live with our beautiful listeners today. How's that sound?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. So we were talking about the heart chakra,
Yes.
and this is just an area too that we just put up so much armor, right? We try to be in that power mode all the time, and we put up armor so that we don't get hurt and we're not in a vulnerable state. And that's when we run into problems too, because with that armor, it's really hard to make connections with people. It's really hard to connect in the way that we want to. And
Yeah,
so we
no one can
often,
get in.
yeah, so we're in our own way from creating those meaningful connections, the things that really light us up in life.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's just another aspect of the heart chakra that needs to be addressed typically.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the next one is our throat chakra. And this obviously governs the throat and the thyroid and, things in that general vicinity. And this is all about our ability to speak our truth and to hear the truth. Um, so this is our ability to kind of verbalize whatever it is that's going on with us, but also be able to ask for what we need and even acknowledge that we have needs. this is one that I see that women suffer with a lot. And yeah, so that's the area that we need to focus in on. The shadow is lies, and not necessarily like telling an outright untruth,
Mhm.
but it's more about kind of lying to yourself about what it is you're feeling.
Mm.
And
Expression of what
exactly.
you intuit or feel like your needs are, but not being able to express them vocally.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I felt like that for so long. Like, I can't even tell you. I would feel like this knot in my throat
Yeah.
when I would be in really uncomfortable situations where it would require that my vulnerability speak instead of
Yes.
crying or clenching. I mean, crying's great, but like I would just like clamp down and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
grind my teeth that night. And like I could feel it was like a ball in my throat or a
Yeah.
rock. And
Hmm.
I couldn't get past that point.
Yeah, it's a very, to me too, this is a very physical chakra. Like if there's anything, any unexpressed emotion there, any unexpressed words that I have been thinking and feeling for a while, I feel it there. And it usually just feels like a tension that's closing around my throat, and it's hard to swallow, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I've known this chakra to be, it's like the gatekeeper for your inner and your outer world.
Mm,
And so ideally you want your inner world to match your outer world to be able to speak your truth.
mhm,
So the moment that you give expression, actually say your feelings out loud, they can leave your body. And this is
mhm,
one of, I think, the most powerful things about tapping too, is when you're talking about whatever it is that you are struggling with, it's leaving your body, physically leaving your body through your throat chakra
mm, mm,
and creating more space for
mm.
other things.
Would you say the same is true? Like the same benefit can be true if people can't articulate something, like a sound can also suffice, like sound
Mm,
moving the body or like carrying with it the energetic impression of the thing that's blocked, right? Like the sound can carry out vibration. Because sometimes, like, I think the
yeah.
struggle is like a cerebral one of not being able to articulate what it is that you want to say, but like you can feel it. And then like
Yeah. Yeah.
like a primal sound of
Sure.
like offloading of some
Yeah,
kind,
yeah. Or even something like chanting.
singing,
Like,
humming.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember I was like paralyzed. I don't say that so lightly. Like I literally couldn't move half my body. Um,
Oh,
this is a total aside, but I think it's related. When I met
yeah.
my now husband, I
Hmm.
really struggled in intimate relationships. I grew up with a narcissistic father and like was never felt safe expressing myself because it was always wrong in some way. I was always
Sure.
or that's like the imprint that I had was that I was wrong. I was dumb and like I couldn't, my opinion wasn't valued, that type of thing. But when I met my husband, it was just like all of this, he made me feel so safe for the first time in my life. And like
Yeah.
I felt all this energy moving in my body that I'd never felt before. So I also felt like a piercing pain in my heart.
Oh,
And my
interesting.
friend was like, "Are you having a stroke?" Like one day I just couldn't move my arm. And I was laying in my apartment with my head like this. And I had like been dating him for like a couple weeks. It was so weird. And my roommate came in. She's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "You just need to make a sound." She's like, "Go like this." And I like started making these weird animal noises that like I wasn't thinking about because I couldn't she was like, "What's going on?" And I couldn't say it with language, but I
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
making these sounds and stuff, and it really helped me feel better. Like I got some movement in my arm.
Oh, that's amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
it was like this block like needed to come. And then I went to a cranial sacral therapist, and I love people who put it shoot different perspective than just an anatomical, this is
Yeah.
like anatomically what's wrong. She told
Yeah.
me, and then she was like, are you in love? And I was like, I didn't even tell her that. She's like, your armor is dismantling around your heart,
Oh my
on the
gosh.
masculine side of
Yes.
your body. And I was like, are you a fucking psychic? Like, it
Oh my
really
gosh.
blew my mind. And
Yeah.
it opened me into this like thing that I really wanted in life, which was a devoted relationship with a trustworthy person who made me feel like I could be myself. I prayed for it,
Yeah.
manifested it, like done sex magic around it, and like it came.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
my body was like freaking out because it couldn't like hold the capacity of it. It was
Yeah.
really overwhelming, but like it ended really well. But I think tapping um, is one of those tools that can help increase the capacity of the nervous system to break down and dismantle these things that we have
Yes.
not latently in place necessarily because they're acting on us all the time, whether they're manifesting in various maladies or illnesses or discomforts as you're describing. But I love how you would like take a client through this kind of prognosis based on what they come to you for. Finish the last two chakras if you would, and then maybe I give you like a practice case study.
Okay. So the next one is the third eye chakra.
Mm,
And that is, if you think about like the connection between your neck and your skull, and you go inside your brain a little bit, um, if you think about that spot, that's exactly where it is. But it also can show up right here.
I've never heard this. This chakra is in the brain stem as well.
It's, yes, it kind of in the middle. But when I focus on this spot right here, I feel tingling right here. So they kind of show up in both places.
Oh.
So this is an area where it's all about illusions. It's about our ability to see what's happening in the world clearly and not always what's exactly right in front of us.
Mhm.
Being able to have a vision for our life that we want, being able to like see the truth of a situation rather than what we want to see,
Mm.
or even our senses, like opening up our senses to more than just what we see, but what we feel around us also.
Mhm.
When I personally work on opening this chakra for myself, not only do I feel like on a physical level, my sinuses start to open up, I also feel like my awareness suddenly expands from my physical body, like out into the space around me,
Mm.
and it just becomes bigger. And it's all things seen and unseen at that point when I work on that chakra. So,
Cool.
yeah, yeah.
I love it.
So the shadow side is illusions, things that aren't real that we tend to focus on. Um, People that have trouble in their sinuses and their ears, even their eyes, headaches a lot. Um, Not migraines. Migraines are more the crown chakra, but yeah, leaning into really finding the truth and clarity and being able to kind of expand what your version of the truth and what's actually happening out in the world.
Mm. It's kind of, it makes me think of like the Matrix. Like
Yeah, yeah,
we see the 3D reality and we accept that as reality, but it's
exactly.
really like that's the facade of reality or that's the projection that we're in. But when
Yes.
you mentioned that the other point is at the base of the skull here, I like this spiritual teacher, Jeffrey Allen, and he talks about the soul comes in and out here.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's done when he talks about like coming out of his body or like
Mm-hmm.
um I forget the exact proper terminology in right in this moment, but he said that like you can remove the soul comes in and out through this point. But then I've
Oh,
also heard in like Hindu traditions, they talk about the third eye being here and this being the seat of the soul. So it makes sense to have those both be focal points.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can focus on one or the other. I tend to I feel it more when I focus back here, but then I feel it in both places. If I'm just focusing here, I don't feel it there also.
Wow,
So I
interesting.
start there and then I can feel it in both places.
When I play with sensing presence, like greater
Hmm.
presence, um,
Yeah.
presence or even ancestors or angels, I feel
Mm.
it behind me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very seldom feel like presence in front of my, peripheral sight vision.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can sense presence here. So that's interesting. And I think that we ignore like the back half of the body a lot of the time.
Oh, we do. We
Yeah.
totally do. Yes, yes,
Don't see
completely.
it, must not be there.
Right. So the last chakra is obviously up on top of our head. That's our crown chakra. And there's more chakras. I just tend to focus on these seven because that's what we're mostly dealing with here in this in physical life.
Mhm.
Um, and that's our connection with the universe. That's our
Mm,
connection kind of with the bigger picture for ourselves, for the world, for how we show up in the world, what our sense of purpose is, all of those things. Um, yeah. And like I said, migraines are a typical thing. Bigger things like brain tumors, stuff like that. It would be having to do with the crown chakra and just a lack of connection to the universe, I would say.
mm.
That would be the thing to lean into.
So is the
Um,
shadow, how would you phrase the shadow? Connect.
uh, Read any book. So if you don't have this book, Eastern Body, Western Mind by
Ooh,
Anodea Judith, this is like the Bible for chakras. Let me see if I can find.
Eastern body, Western mind.
Yes.
That's
She's
sounds like
such a
that's like
badass.
diagnoses.
Yeah.
You have a case of Western mind.
So another thing that I want to point out is there's also the masculine and feminine parts of our bodies. So right side is masculine, left side is feminine. And in general, masculine is like power and control, and feminine is vulnerability and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody comes to me and they say, I have this crazy pain in my left knee or my right hip or my left shoulder, I also take that into consideration because that will show me more where the focus needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, something else to consider in the whole scheme of things. But what I want to say is kind of most important about the chakras is that even if you have an imbalance like in your heart chakra, it's so much easier and more effective to always start at the root chakra
Mm,
and work your way up. Because it's like if you just focus on the heart chakra, you are building uh, something on a shaky foundation.
mm-hmm.
Like you need to be able to strengthen and shore up that foundation first. And then everything else is going to line up a lot sturdier, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be less um, vulnerability in the structure
Mm,
if you start with the bottom, the base, the most important part of your building, and work your way up from there. And
mm,
it's so much easier because I think things like what are something manifesting in the solar plexus or the heart chakra, say it's you're feeling shame because of some trauma that happened in your childhood. If you focus on the trauma itself, which happens down in the root chakra, the trauma itself and the fears around that trauma, because that's the shadow work that you need to do in the root chakra. If you focus on those things first and you get rid of, for example, the fear that there's something wrong with me,
Mm,
shame kind of goes away, right?
mm,
So shame is kind of an after effect of the fear that there's something wrong with me.
mm, mm,
So if you work on the fear first, and then maybe even if there's any leftover guilt, and then the shame is so much easier to release with the fear already neutralized.
mm.
And maybe it even kind of takes care of itself a little bit along the way.
It totally, it makes sense that there's
Mm-hmm.
a hierarchy, kind of
Yes.
like a, because at the base of the spine or at the base is like where the energy concentrates. So if you think of something like Kundalini awakening, right? Like you
Yes.
don't just
Yes.
open your third eye with no place in your body to hold that kind of energy. You have to
Yeah.
have a grounded structure, as you say, which is like a perfect metaphor for what's going on. You don't want to build this top heavy thing, then you have like this miraculous experience and like your body, you're kind of traumatized. You could get traumatized from having
Yeah.
a
Y-
really miraculous experience that your body can't hold.
yes. Yes. And if you're, if you focus on the upper chakras, because those are the sexy chakras that everybody wants to work on, right? The heart chakra, the third eye, like everybody wants that stuff. But if you only focus there, but yet you are still feeling massive anxiety all the time, because that's where anxiety is from the root chakra, then your whole existence is still so troubling, right?
Mm,
If you neutralize that anxiety and all of those fears, can you imagine how much more spiritual and how much more you could open your heart, how much more like awareness you could have if you
mm.
had that solid foundation and weren't in a fear state all the time? It would amplify everything 10 times more than if you just focused on opening up those areas of your chakra.
Oh, I mean, it sounds so good. I think this is neglected in a lot of spiritualist and energetic conversations. People just like jump right in, like you say,
Yeah.
they get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, let me feel really good and like,
Yeah.
well, I'll be great. Well, you kind of have to like take the mud out of the foundation or whatever analogy you want to use first.
Yeah.
Be able
Yeah.
to be in your body because, as you say, I think you said trauma originates in the root chakra. It's stored in the root chakra,
Yes.
the
Yes.
peripheral upwards.
Yes.
You have to clear that out, or you're not going to be able to be in your body, and your body
Yeah.
is where all this experience is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
We're so
There was
nuts.
Yeah. So there was some point in my spiritual journey that I just kind of had this understanding, because it's such a weird counterintuitive kind of contrast, that in order to expand my spirituality, I had to get grounded in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just made me more present instead of having like swirling energy up in my head all the time. I had to get down in my body, and that's the way to get into this present moment, which is honestly the only thing that exists. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of worrying about the past or worrying about the future constantly and having my energy kind of scattered, I
Mm-hmm.
had to get present and focused in grounded in my body in
Mm-hmm.
order to expand my connection with the universe
Mm-hmm. And how did you do that?
by working through my shadows. It's starting with the root chakra,
So addressing fears.
addressing fears. That is honestly, that is the beginning spot where I tell every people, every person,
And all y'all.
all the peoples.
I'll talk about that too.
That's the place to start. If you can focus on symptoms all day long, like procrastination or addiction or anxiety or depression. You can focus on those symptoms, and sometimes those are important to put a band-aid over those things. But if you want to truly solve those issues, then you have to go to the root cause, and that is always, always at the root chakra.
It's
Start.
literally in the name.
Yes. Yeah.
Root cause is in the root. It is fear based. Could you give us some um, pointers or some advice on how we can locate our fears? Because for most of us, I think we just ignore them, so we don't know what they are necessarily. We're just like
Yeah.
living
Yeah.
a symptomatic experience of them not being resolved.
Yes. Yes.
How do we find them?
So it requires a little bit of digging, and sometimes that's not so easy, but it requires a little bit of um, curiosity, let's say, about what you're feeling. So in a moment, say you're procrastinating, there's a goal that you have to get really in shape, but for whatever reason, you just can't make yourself go to the gym, even though it's a really great desire. There's something in between you and having what you want that is causing yourself fear. You don't recognize it in the moment. You just judge and criticize yourself for being lazy or whatever adjective you want to give it. But there is something happening in between what where you are now and what you say you want that is causing you some kind of fear. So then you have to kind of get curious about what that is. What would happen if I did get really in shape? Would people be jealous of me? Would would I lose friendships?
Mm.
Would
Would
it
I get
be
too much attention?
am I
Unwanted
even
attention?
yeah, am I capable of having that kind of success? So you start asking yourself these questions and then you go underneath that. So if I do have a fear of success, what would happen if I did succeed? Would I lose love and connection with people? Would I feel like I don't belong? So there's seven foundational fears that everything can trickle down to.
Let's hear
So there is the fear of not belonging, fear of abandonment,
them.
fear of rejection, fear of not being worthy or deserving, fear that there's something wrong with me.
Mm,
Then there's fear of our actual physical body. And especially for people that have had like a big physical issue, maybe you're diagnosed with like cancer or um, from a very young age you had massive allergies.
mm.
There's like a fear, like who knows when my body is going to pull the rug out from underneath me and cause a
Mhm.
massive issue.
Yeah, you can't trust it.
You can't trust your body. That's a
Mm,
big one. When you live in
mm,
this vessel, that is a really big one.
mm.
Then there is the fear of financial insecurity. If you're worried about where your next meal is going to come from or whether or not you're going to have a roof over your head, that's a really big um, foundational fear.
Fuck yeah.
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 And especially like if parents had a lot of scarcity or something along those lines, that's definitely one to focus on. So I think that's all seven, right?
So like essentially in this model, fears can be concentrated down into one of these main seven,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
helpful. Like I think it's really helpful to have this kind of like base theory for people to look at
Yeah.
because they're like, I don't know what I'm afraid of. And I'm like, well, if I kind of just glance at this list, which one of these looks similar to the thing that is could be in my way? Like if I believed this,
Yes.
could that be the thing that was keeping me from going to the gym? Like,
Right.
am I afraid of moving my body? I'm like afraid of getting hurt, like,
Right.
which would
Right.
remind me of being when I couldn't walk for a year after the car accident when I was a kid. It's like all
Exactly.
of this
Exactly.
is in there.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, finding that, I love the way you said that because finding that foundational fear is one step, but then connecting it to an experience
Mm.
that you've had is really the thing that kind of amplifies our clarity and our understanding. So if you can say something like, Well, of course, I'm like scared of judgment and criticism from other people because I'm afraid they're going to leave me like my dad left.
Mhm.
I'm so afraid to disappoint somebody because I don't want them to have any reason to abandon me or reject me. Like, of course, that makes perfect sense. Like, if you can make that connection
Mhm.
in your mind, that is really like the most important step.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's really hard to like look at the fact that you're not going to the gym and connect it to not being worthy or deserving somehow. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you can kind of make that connection and then be able to f- really feel the truth of that fear because of the connection that you've made with it, and then engage with the tapping, like that,
Yeah.
that is the recipe for being able to really transform and neutralize that fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Take us there if you would. So, like, that would be the third step in this process,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Identify
Yeah.
the fear, connect it to an experience if it's available. It might be something karmic or ancestral if you can't locate it
Yes, it
in,
it could be that very much. Yeah.
in your
Um,
consciousness, or it could be subconscious, and perhaps it will reveal itself later. But to
yeah.
allow the possibility of like, there's a reason that this fear is in me. It's not for nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
It's not some character defect.
no.
It's, not by any means. It is really just there is a part of you that, without even knowing it, has been triggered by a circumstance out in your world today that connects back to something, like you said, karmic, generational, ancestral, um, even just trauma in some way, shape, or form. And
Mhm.
so if you can't make that connection somehow, you can just continue tapping and saying, I have this fear for whatever reason or
Mm.
for a million reasons.
Mm.
I'm not able to connect with it at this moment,
Mm.
but I do know that there's a part of me that's afraid to move forward. And I just want to honor that at the deepest level, you know?
Yes. I love this. I want to do this with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get an example of something that we could tap on that's maybe really relevant to a lot of people? Um, Scarcity, maybe, for example. Scarcity mindset, or the fear of like, it's going to run out. I'm not going to have
Yeah.
money. I have money right now. I can buy lunch today, but what about tomorrow? Like that is,
Yeah.
I see that in all over my family, in myself as well at times. Would that be okay if we did a tapping?
Yeah. You want to do some tapping? I'd love to.
I love tapping.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm just
Now I'm with an
gonna
expert, so I'm really gonna milk it.
okay, good. Well, I'm just gonna go over the tapping points really fast.
Yeah.
So the first one is your karate chop point just down from your pinky finger. I like to tap on both sides of my body, so I tap those two spots together.
Okay, so you do one side, then the other. You don't do a whole sequence on the left and then a whole sequence on the right.
No, I do both at the same time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So at the karate chop point, we're saying like two or three even though statements. Like even though me and my family have always known uh, some level of scarcity, I love and accept myself anyway. So that even those statements, something like that. And then we do what's called repeater phrases going through the rest of the tapping points. And the first one is at the beginning of your eyebrows. And I like to tell people this is one of the only areas I will ever encourage you to be a perfectionist, because if you're tapping somewhere in the middle of your forehead, not nearly as effective. So stay right at the beginning of the eyebrows. The next one is at the side of the eye, right at your temple.
And does it matter for people who are not watching this on video how many fingers you use, or you just use one because you're just using like
I
the.
tend to do just like two fingers,
Mhm.
make sure I'm hitting the right spot. The next one is on top of your cheekbone, right under your eye,
Mm.
and then under your nose, under your mouth. The next one is your collarbone point. So if you find the beginning of your collarbone, you're going to go down about an inch. There's a little valley in between your collarbone and your ribs on either side of your sternum.
Mm.
So you tap in that little valley. The next one is on your armpit, about 4 inches down, right where a bra strap would be for a woman. And then on your ribs. Oh, it's right under your breasts.
Oh, it's not the bottom
Maybe
rib?
maybe like 2 to 3 inches down from your nipple.
Nipples
This is
can
one that
be
a lot of
very.
practitioners skip because it's just one of those spots that you don't want to explain where it's at.
Is it the bottom rib? Are you tapping the bottom rib?
I am tapping right underneath my underwire on my
Okay.
bra on my ribs.
So
So
like
not
kind of where the
necessarily.
rib cage starts to curve out.
Yes,
Have
yes, right
nipples
about
in
there.
that area.
And then the next one, we have 3 spots on our wrist. So outside, middle, outside. So I tend to tip my wrist together, but I'm turning them so I can try and hit all 3 spots. Some people like to do it like this.
Oh, cool.
And then the last one is up on top of your head. And, different practitioners will use a little bit different spots. I mean, there's a lot of spots on your fingers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
None of them are wrong. This is
Mhm.
what I learned. I just like to tap on both sides of my body. I feel like if I'm doing this, I might as well get the most bang for my buck. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it all.
Well, then you're also crossing the midline of the body and getting bilateral stimulation in your brain. And
Mm-hmm.
anything crossing the midline of the body, from my understanding, helps soothe anxiety because anxiety tends to exist on one side of the hemisphere of the brain.
Yeah, yeah.
So doing them simultaneously actually felt really soothing because I tend to do one sequence on one side and then I switch, but this actually felt really nice to do it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do like if I'm driving and I still need a hand, I'll do one side, but if I can, I'm always going to do both.
Okay. Cool.
So what I want to explain real quickly about scarcity before we get started is that we usually adopt the money paradigm that we learned from our family
Mhm.
growing up. And if we grew up in an environment of scarcity, that's kind of what we learned. That's where our set point is. And so if we go above that in our own lives and we happen to have some abundance, but we haven't worked through this yet, life will happen and we'll figure out a way to get ourselves back to that set point. So
Mhm.
then that's when like you've got something to fix on your car. You had some extra money and then all of a sudden you've got, have to repair a car or get a new
Mhm.
roof or, something along those lines. And we'll always get back to that set point until we work through this.
Mhm.
So this is about letting go of that old money paradigm that we kind of were conditioned with and programmed into thinking was going to be your reality for life, that scarcity is the way, um, or at least it's my kind of destiny with money.
What we're comfortable with.
It's what we're comfortable with. That
The
is our set
known.
point.
Yeah.
I should say familiar, not necessarily comfortable, but that's where familiar. We will always go back to our familiar point until we are willing to let go of it. So
Mm.
let's do some tapping around that.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you really quick, just for an understanding for your listeners. We always kind of take a rating 0 to 10 before we start tapping because it's such a subjective thing. We need to kind of focus in on our feelings. So, where would you say 0 to 10 you feel the energy of scarcity and the feelings around
Today, right
scarcity?
now. It has to be right now, present, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
you could really tap into it.
I mean, if I really conjure it up and like the expense list that we have
Hmm.
contrasted with like the necessity and also the wish list, it's really it's pretty high when I
Yeah,
really tune into all those things and I don't
yeah,
just
yeah.
so like if I can feel it in my body right now, it's like a 7 or 8 if I really acknowledge all those things simultaneously.
And where do you feel it in your body?
Right here in my chest right here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What does it feel like?
It feels like fluttering. It feels like an over caffeination. It feels like anxiety. It feels like adrenaline, too much adrenaline. Like I can't keep up. Um,
Oh, uh-huh.
it's like somewhere outside of my control. Um, it also feels like I'm trying to make something happen without allowing the possibility of other things to happen in some sort of like etherical way. It feels like that. It feels really fluttery and like and this jumpy energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna try to incorporate some of that,
Okay.
make it more effective for you. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and start tapping. And before I ask, did you grew up in a environment where scarcity was very much real every day?
It was really like the scarcity of my childhood was the inconsistency. So like sometimes it felt really safe and you're like, oh, we have money. And then like other times you're like, oh, the bank took our house. Oh, we had to like move in the middle of the night. Oh, but we have food to eat and we can buy shoes. Oh, but no, we can't go to the zoo. Like it was so unpredictable and like
Oh my gosh, yeah.
see it because you're a kid. So like all you know
Yes.
when you're satisfied and when you're let down. So like you're the emotional roller coaster of like wanting and not being allowed to, or like, but I mean, I have a place to sleep. Like I didn't have the kind of scarcity where I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
Like we always ate, but like I felt so emotionally fucked with, like with what I could do, or like my brother would get to do it, but then I couldn't because like all of a sudden we didn't have money for me to do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
really like inconsistent and I couldn't trust it and I never saw it either. That's is what I something I realized later in life was like I never saw money because everything was checks in the 80s, and like credit cards and checks and like
Yeah.
mom would always be like checking her bank account, but she also never knew because she was dependent on my dad. My dad was a gambler. I'll just say that I didn't really know what his profession was for a long time.
Yeah.
The professional gambler or a chronic gambler, an addicted gambler, or whatever terminology we want to say. That was his
Wow. Okay.
occupation, but I didn't know that. Like I thought I didn't know what his job was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom was a great, stay-at-home, awesome mom who I
Yeah.
think was like along for this ride as well of like unknowing. It was just like such an unknown. So I never really
Yes.
I'm learning about money now in a healthy way, but I still have a lot of work to do that I pretend that I don't. But I don't want to pretend. I want to vomit
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think. That is really kind of an interesting dynamic to
Yeah.
grow up with. Yeah.
Yeah, because you feel it, right? You feel it emotionally, but you can't like put it to anything that is practical or tactile necessarily.
And yeah, and most people's experience is like one experience of scarcity and stress and lack of whatever or abundance and all the things that show up with that, but
Mhm.
having both kind of and having it be so up and down and so unpredictable, that's a
Yeah.
really
Feast
interesting
and
dynamic. Yeah.
famine as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I realized like a scarcity symptom of mine was that when I would get money, when I started working on my own, I would just spend it all. Like just spend
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where anymore is coming from is like being on the edge all the time, which I think some part of me was like addicted to that kind of thrill in some weird kinky way.
Yeah, well, you have to like take advantage of the moment when you have money, right? Because you never know when it's going to change. That's the
Yeah.
thing that you learned.
Which is like really primal too. Like when we
Yes.
sisters found a bunch of berries, they would just gorge on berries. They weren't like, let's figure out how to dry the berries and put them in a pouch and
Right.
have them in the winter.
Right.
That
Yeah.
later, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's like the imprint that I can feel in me, and I would love to move it around or like be able to move it out. It's scarcity for sure.
Yeah. 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 And unpredictability.
Unpredictability, like not feeling safe with money because
You
I
never know when it's going to leave.
never know when it's going to leave, never know what's coming in,
Yeah.
don't know what it
Yeah.
looks like as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to pass this on to my kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love, I'm getting super into shadow work. Yes, which so I love
Shadow
any,
work is the best.
the best.
Oh my
Come
God.
on,
You
Abraham
lean in.
Hicks,
Yeah.
promoting the shadow work program.
You lean into this stuff, these things that you just avoid like the plague. And sometimes you don't even know you're avoiding them, but you lean into it just a little bit. And all of a sudden you have so much more space in your life.
Oh,
Like
it's so
they,
liberating.
it truly is. And it's uncomfortable, but there's so much like more on the other side of that.
Yeah,
And
if you
I,
can stay past that kind of like hinging point of like,
yeah, yeah,
it sucks, I don't want to do it. It's like, well, hang on. Stay the 30 minutes or whatever,
yeah,
go through it because something is coming, something is in you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you have the courage to kind of stick with those uncomfortable feelings, I mean, studies have shown like feeling it for 90 seconds
90 seconds.
makes it go away. And
Yeah.
then you're not stuffing it somewhere in your body. You're not setting it aside to deal with at some later time. 90 seconds is all it takes, but we have not been taught how to do that. We have not been encouraged to do that in any way, shape, or form.
Mm.
Feeling feelings has been associated with so much judgment and criticism. Women are called hysterical, men are
Yeah.
called weak if they engage with anything other than anger. Like
Mm.
it just has never been encouraged, but we are such emotional beings. Like I feel like this is our next frontier to be able to just welcome and honor all emotions,
Oh,
not just get rid of the ones that don't feel good and slap on happy emotions on top of something that doesn't feel good. Like it really is just allowing ourselves to feel. That is the next thing.
it is. And it's everyone has this ability, this capability. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of it, our attention spans also have been so thwarted and
Yes.
minimized, and we can't
Yes.
look at something for more than 3 seconds. It's like, let's let's tap back into that part of our brains and our psyche and our nervous system that really like relishes in that, like
Yeah.
really thrives on that kind of presence and
Yeah.
allows something else to come up or to move. Like we don't
Yeah.
own all this either, and I think that's part of the Western mentality is that we own and it's privatized and it's ours. It's like
Yeah.
these aren't really yours. They don't want to stay trapped inside of this unit that is you. Like it's part of
Yeah.
the greater picture of universal consciousness, and these it wants to be released and come back into it. It's like you don't take lightning and like throw it in the bathroom and close the door, and be like, "There's my lightning in there. Nobody open the door." Like it's weather. It's like
Yeah.
it's an energetic movement that likes
Yes.
to move.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. 100%.
All right, let's
Okay.
move it. Move it.
Let's do some tapping.
Yeah.
Even though um, I grew up with a real scarcity mentality.
Should I repeat this?
Yes, you should.
Okay, let's all repeat this.
Let's
Beautiful.
all do it.
Let's all say it. So we're tapping on the karate chop point if you're not watching the
Oh,
video.
yes. Sorry about
Watch
that.
the video, it's better.
I forget that nobody is looking at us. They're just listening.
Audio world for some.
Yeah.
Say it again, please.
Okay. Even though I grew up in a real scarcity mentality,
Even though I grew up with a real scarcity mentality,
in the day to day, it was feast or famine in my family.
in the day to day, it was feast or famine in my family.
I never knew what the day would bring.
I never knew what the day would bring.
Sometimes we were feeling great and going shopping for things that we needed.
Sometimes, some days it was great and we'd be feeling great and we'd go shopping for things that we needed.
And sometimes we were moving in the middle of the night.
Sometimes we were moving in the middle of the night.
There was no certainty when it came to money for us.
There was no certainty when it came to money for us.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And I deeply honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
Even though I grew up with a set point of scarcity in my family,
Even though I grew up with a set point of scarcity in my family,
where underneath the surface, there was always feelings of worry.
where underneath the surface there was always feelings of worry.
We always had food on our table,
We always had food on our table,
but I never knew what was going to happen next.
but I never knew what was going to happen next.
And the fear of losing everything was always there.
The fear of losing everything was always there.
Even if I didn't feel it specifically,
Even if I didn't feel it specifically,
there was an undercurrent with my parents.
there was an undercurrent with my parents.
And I love and honor all parts of who I am completely.
And I love and honor all parts of who I am completely.
Even though I grew up with this feeling of scarcity in my family,
Even though I grew up with this feeling of scarcity in my family,
and I feel it in my body and my chest,
and I feel it in my body and my chest,
a fluttering sensation where I feel like I have to do more,
a fluttering sensation where I feel like I have to do more,
a desperateness to make it right.
a desperateness to make it right.
And I love and honor myself anyway.
And I love and honor myself anyway.
And I honor my courage in tackling this issue.
And I honor my courage in tackling this issue.
Okay, now we're going to start tapping on your eyebrow point. This old money paradigm.
This old money paradigm.
Tap on the side of your eye now. Feelings of scarcity were always there in my family.
Feelings of scarcity were always there in my family.
On your under your eye now. Whether we had enough or had lost everything,
Whether we had enough or lost everything,
under the nose, there was always that sensation of scarcity just under the surface.
there was always that sensation of scarcity just under the surface.
On your chin. And it left me feeling really unstable.
It left me feeling really unstable,
Collarbone, really uncertain.
really uncertain.
Under your arms. And I never knew what was going to happen next.
And I never knew what was going to happen next.
So this feeling of scarcity was programmed into me over the years.
So this feeling of scarcity was programmed into me over the years.
On your wrist, literally programmed into my nervous system.
Literally programmed into my nervous system.
On top of your head, this feeling that there's never enough.
This feeling that there's never enough.
And then we're just going to keep tapping through the points. So back on your eyebrow point. This feeling of stress around money.
This feeling of stress around money.
This feeling of not having enough.
This feeling of not having enough.
I can't imagine how much my parents suffered with this.
I can't imagine how much my parents suffered with this.
The stress that my dad must have felt around winning or losing at gambling.
The stress that my dad must have felt around winning or losing at gambling.
And whether or not our family was going to have a roof over our heads.
Whether or not our family was going to have a roof over our head.
And my mom went along for the ride.
My mom was along for the ride.
But I know she felt it too.
I I know she felt it too.
It was so scary all the time for them.
Oh, it was so scary all the time for them.
And even if my brother and I weren't totally aware of it,
Even if my brother and my sisters, we weren't totally aware of it,
there was a part of us that could feel it all the time.
there was a part of us that could feel it all the time.
That constant stress over not having enough,
The constant stress over not having enough,
that constant feeling of scarcity.
that constant feeling of scarcity.
And I just want to honor how hard that must have been for them.
I just want to honor how hard that must have been for them.
They worked hard.
They worked hard for sure.
They tried to provide for us.
They tried to provide for us.
And they probably really suffered with this old money paradigm.
They probably really suffered with this old money paradigm.
A money paradigm that maybe they learned from their parents.
A money paradigm that they probably learned from their parents.
But they didn't know how to release it.
But they didn't know how to release it.
It was programmed into their system.
It was programmed into their system.
And I learned it from them.
And I learned it from them.
And I just want to honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And I just want to honor all my thoughts and feelings about this.
And the truth is, this is their money paradigm.
And the truth is, this is their money paradigm.
Maybe it doesn't have to be mine.
Maybe it doesn't have to be mine.
Maybe I can give it back to them.
Maybe I can give it back to them.
And know that I don't have to hold on to it.
And know that I don't have to hold on to it.
I don't have to hold on to this scarcity energy.
I don't have to hold on to this scarcity energy.
I can give it back to them.
I can give it back to them.
I can honor them and all their generations that have suffered with this scarcity.
I can honor them and all their generations that have suffered with this scarcity.
And heal this old paradigm all the way back into the past.
And heal this old paradigm all the way back into the past.
And let myself be the beginning of the change.
And let myself be the beginning of the change.
Because with awareness, I get clarity.
Because with awareness, I get clarity.
And with clarity, I can make a choice.
And with clarity, I can make a choice.
I can let go of this old scarcity mindset.
Let go of this old scarcity mindset.
And start allowing in so much abundance.
And start allowing in so much abundance.
So much abundance that I never even have to worry about money again.
So much abundance that I never even have to worry about money again.
I just know it will be there.
I just know it will be there.
And maybe I don't have to create all the abundance myself.
And maybe I don't have to create all the abundance myself.
I would love to co-create it with the universe.
I would love to co-create it with the universe.
I want the universe to be my partner in crime.
I want the universe to be my partner in crime.
My partner in abundance.
My partner in abundance.
Okay, take a nice deep breath. Okay, keeping your eyes closed. Just want you to sink back into your body. And you were at 7, I believe, 0 to 10. Kind of where would you say you are now, 0 to 10, with your scarcity feelings?
I have hunger feelings. I'm trying to see what's under
They're confusing your ability to rate yourself.
the lunchtime feeling.
Yeah.
When I tune into scarcity, it's moved out of my chest.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I feel it up higher, like it's like higher in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good. That means movement, and release. Um, on the scale factor, I feel it probably like a 2 or a 3.
Oh, it went down quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Uh, I feel I had some like tears roll out, which I love and welcomed,
Yeah.
tingling on my head and my hands.
You did great.
Thanks. I really like it. I like being guided with the specificity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great tapping coach. That was
Well, thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
I hope your listeners got something out of that as well.
Yeah, I hope you did it along with us, unless you're driving, of course, as everyone says.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. You listen to podcasts, they're like, close your eyes and tune into your yoni, unless you're driving. Like, no, who would do that?
No, nobody's
If
going
you
to do
are
that.
driving, just listen to this again at home or when you have
Yeah. Yeah.
some time. That was cool, Amy. Thank you. I really thank you for the customized tapping, and thank you for
Of course.
sharing your knowledge. I would just like to hang out with you, but I have to do
I know.
something else. Tell us about the Soar with Tapping app, and how can people find you and learn more about you? Check out your app and your services.
Yeah, so you can find the app on the Google or Apple Play stores, and you just search for Soar with Tapping. It's there. It's got 170 different tapping scripts, everything to put a band-aid so that you can get through your day, put a band-aid on whatever it is you're struggling with, or there's lots of videos that tell you how to go deeper and how to uncover what those foundational fears are and how to work through bigger topics like how to work through depression, how to work through anxiety or procrastination, addiction, weight loss, like all of those things. So it was really designed to be able to address those root issues and heal from the ground up. So there's an order to doing things that is most effective for most people, and so you're given that option as well as all of the other options for how to proceed.
Is that kind of how it's organized? People can search by symptom or condition, or by
So
level?
there's like 12 different categories, like sleep or goal support or physical issues, emotional support, intelligence, fears, and phobias. So it's organized by categories. You can search. There's a search bar that you can search for something in particular, but there's videos that will tell you where to go in the app to start your progress on a particular topic if that's what you wanted to do.
Cool. But then there's also like light kind of daily or more maintenance style.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite categories is the quick boosts. There's like, 10 minutes to pain relief or 10 minutes to sleep or, something like just a quick thing to help you kind of get through a moment.
Mm.
So there's that stuff too. But yeah, it's there. And there's also a My Journey section where you can set some goals for yourself. There's a journaling section where you can kind of take notes about insights that you had while you're doing your tapping and kind of where you think you should go next with it based on whatever insights you had. So it's tried to kind of create the full experience for people so that they can really support their own journey through
Yeah.
the process.
Super cool. And what's the pricing structure? Do people pay like a monthly membership, or do they pay a yearly fee?
Yeah, there's monthly, quarterly, or annual options. And for your listeners, if they go to my website, soarwithtapping.com, they can go to soarwithtapping.com/podcast dash special. They'll find a code there that they can input into the app to get 50% off their first annual subscription.
Awesome. That's super cool. I will put a note for that I'll put a link for that in the show notes as well. Just make it easy for people to get to.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool. And do you see one-to-one clients, virtual?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And is that on the same
Um,
page if people want to? try out one of those?
Yes, they can just email me, amy@soarwithtapping.com, and we can set something up. I really encourage it, especially for working through trauma, because there's no tapping on the app specifically for working through traumatic events because it is impossible to genericize something like that. So I really encourage people to work with a trained tapping coach
Mm,
on the trauma specifically.
yes.
And I mean, there's great benefit to working with a tapping coach on all this stuff because it can be really personalized. Um, but always supplement with the app or even just start your journey that way if that's what you need to get started, because it's relatively cheap. You know, an annual subscription is less than one session with me.
Mm,
So, yeah, do whatever you feel like you need to do to get started
mm.
and just jump in.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
And if you want to start on your own, you know, there's a 14-day free trial, and just to kind of get the education for how to tap,
Mm,
like kind of get under your belt what it looks like, what it feels like, how to approach it. Um, then just do that. Whatever you need to do. This is a free tool. People can use it anytime, anywhere. They don't have to subscribe to the app. Of course, I highly encourage that because it's hard to verbalize your feelings at first, especially if you're not well versed in doing that. If it's not like a muscle that you've strengthened over the years, sometimes you just need assistance, and
mhm,
this will give you that help. But
mm.
if you have the ability to kind of do that on your own, then just go for it. Tapping is available all the time for you.
Yeah.
And it's
I
not just the
love this
woo-woo stuff
approach.
we've been talking about. It will lower cortisol 43% faster than if you did nothing else. It will lower your heart rate. It will lower your blood pressure. It will increase your immune system functionality, and it will increase happiness. I mean, there's
Mm.
so over 300 studies that have been done so far talking about the efficacy of this tool. So it's in your benefit to start utilizing it right away.
And it's really fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it because it engages the body, so you feel more present. It's much harder. Like I'm a hypnotherapist, so I
Hmm.
put people into alpha brainwave states to help them access their subconscious. But people sometimes, they really struggle relaxing because they're so in their head. But if you're engaging your body, it's much harder to like have a runaway thought train going off to your grocery list when you should be engaging with your emotional self.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think tapping is really a really, really helpful modality. Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
mind and body experience, and
Mm-hmm.
easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not rocket science, folks. It's tapping. And my guest today has been Amy Vince. Did I say it good? Did I say it well?
Vinsa. Vinsa.
Vince.
Pretty good.
I really want to get this right. Amy Vince, Soar with Tapping. Check her out. It has been a pleasure, Amy. Thank you so much for being on the Radical Healing podcast. Check us out on YouTube and on anywhere you listen to your podcast. And please share this episode with anyone that you believe would benefit from it. We'd really appreciate a 5-star rating and say nice things about us. And we will be back with you next week. Please check the show notes for the links to work with Amy and the Soar with Tapping app. Amy, it's been a total pleasure. Please say hi to Oaktown for me.
I will. I will. Thank you so much for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It was really
Oh,
fun.
okay. It wasn't just me.
No. If you were closer, we would hang out. That's for
We
sure.
would hang out. We'd be going
Yeah.
to get like pricey coffees and like throw
Heck yeah.
ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the things.
Callie. All right. Thank you so much for being here, dear listener. And we will be back with you next week. Have a beautiful day. Take care of yourself.
Buying a car in Carvana was so easy. I was able to finance it through them.
Whoa, wait, you mean finance?
Yeah, finance. Got pre-qualified for a Carvana auto loan, entered my terms, and shot from thousands of great car options all within my budget.
That's cool, but financing through Carvana was so easy.
Financed. Done. And I get to pick up my car from their Carvana vending machine tomorrow.
Financed.
Right, that's what I said.
You can spend time trying to pronounce financing, or you can actually finance and buy your car today on
Carvana.
Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.